Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football. I hope all of you are doing well as we finally come to an end of this international break. It's finally ending, it's finally over. This has actually been pretty painful. As an international break, it's actually been pretty dire. And lately, last couple of days, there's been no videos because, as you can tell from the tone of this video, and it'll probably be more apparent later on, I've had a cold, so I'm very sorry. But if I come on yesterday trying to talk, I would have been coughing for 90% of the video, so it's not happening. And sniffing as well, which is still kind of there. But apologies for that. It's going to be there a little bit today, but from tomorrow onwards, all should be good. Well, tomorrow there will be a video, but it's pre-recorded today, and that is going to be the preview for Nottingham Forest versus Chelsea. So make sure you guys are here for that as I give you the preview. There will also be a shootout video for the Premier League predictions coming out Saturday morning. First thing Saturday morning, because me and George are back in Dubai together at the same time, first thing Saturday morning. So the first thing we're going to do is record and then get that video out, and it's going to be there on Shootout. So hit the link in the description. First one there, make sure you're subbed. The watch along for Nottingham Forest versus Chelsea will be on Shootout as well. So make sure you guys are there and join us for the craziness. I've got something to talk about in relation to Nottingham Forest in this video. But before we get to that, let's get to other matters at hand at Chelsea. So starting off with this. Chelsea manager Enzo Maresca has joined Jorge Mendes' agency, Gestifute, according to Portugal's Mais Futebol. Now, some of you are probably looking at this and thinking, oh my God, why? Is he going? Chill. He's, as far as I'm concerned, he's got himself the best agent in world football. It's Jorge Mendes. You know what I mean? It's the same agent as Jose Mourinho. Listen, Enzo Maresca would be gassed at this. Yeah, he's done a very good business decision here. Let's not pretend Enzo Maresca is going to stay here for 10 years. Yeah, he is going to go on and do other quests. Yeah, we are going to keep rotating managers. I don't say that in the way of like every season, you know, but we are going to get to a point where I think right now Enzo Maresca is on track to becoming our second longest serving manager. You know, it's not a very hard thing to do. If you stay at the club for 3 years, you'll do it. He's in his second, so you're halfway there, mate. You know what I mean? Let's see what happens. But he is going to eventually move on. And then once he does, from Chelsea, Jorge Mendes is going to probably get him Real Madrid or something. So it's a great business and personal decision for Enzo Maresca. Good luck. I'm very happy for him. And let's see what happens there. But you don't need to be concerned. No one needs to be worried. Enzo Maresca isn't going anywhere just yet. I know there's been rumours. Juventus are looking at him. He's not leaving Chelsea yet. He's just not. His position, we already know, will be reviewed at the end of the season. And once it is reviewed at the end of the season, we'll see what we do. And then, you know, decisions will be made. But even then, who are we going to go in for is the question. You know, it's very easy for people to say, oh, yeah, do this. Okay, well, what are we replacing that with? Bring logical solutions here. And then we can talk about actually making that move. Right now, people, I think, in a way, can only look at Glasner, Areola. I've put out a video, well, me and George, on Shootout, and that's gone out today. Go and have a look. But our hot takes, mine mainly, is that Pep and Arteta could leave Arsenal and City by the end of the season. And why? Because Arteta will, I think, fail to win the league, and that will be the thing that, you know, that will be what gets him the chop. And Pep, I think, will just leave City. So, you know, his time's coming to an end, I think. So maybe we turn to one of those two, but then again, nah, I wouldn't personally. Neither Pep or Arteta. Pep, I think, is coming to an end in terms of his philosophy, and football is starting to move past him, I think. And Arteta isn't good enough, as far as I'm concerned, at the top Premier League winning level. So Maresca, I don't think, has anything to be worried about just yet. Let's see what happens. But let me show you what else has happened to Enzo Maresca. Here it is. Enzo Maresca has been given a one-match touchline ban and an £8,000 fine for misconduct during the Premier League game between Chelsea and Liverpool on Saturday, the 4th of October. Can I just say something here? Yeah? Game's gone. Game's gone. Game's gone. I'll understand a touchline ban. I get it, because he got a second yellow card for doing that and he got sent off. A red card equals, well, 2 yellows equals a 1-game ban. I get it. Yeah, I get it. Even then, I don't think it should have been given, because what? Running down the touchline now warrants you a yellow card. Why? So we can't even show that emotional side to the game anymore in the context that it was done in. There should be some flexibility here, regardless of who it is. If a team scores a last-minute winner and everyone loses their minds, especially against Liverpool, Would you expect us to clap? What is this, cricket? Like, come on, man. He gets an £8,000 fine for that, man. It's worth it. I mean, it's not worth it because he's paying it to the FA. Crooks. But anyway, you get what I mean? Game's gone. Game's gone, man. Can you imagine having to tell, I don't know, Bobby Robson back in the day, oh yeah, you'll be fine for running down the touchline? He'd slap you. He'd actually punch you in the face. You know? Can you imagine Prime Jose, 2004, running down the touchline against United at Old Trafford and then he gets fined for that? Oh, mate, it would have been curtains. Anyway, it is what it is. Football is moving into a very weird place. Let's move to another person with contract situations. Caicedo. Several clubs will always be attentive to a top player like Moises Caicedo, but that's it. He's focused on Chelsea and is happy at Chelsea. His change of agent is not due to an imminent transfer, and Chelsea still intend to reward him, but he is already on a big salary and a long deal, so no rush. This is, interesting. I thought Caicedo was given a new contract not long ago. If that's the case, then does he need another one really quickly? I mean, what are we doing? He deserves it, don't get me wrong, but I would just give him a really good contract and just get him to stick with that. You know? He's playing well. This is the level that he's operating at. Give him 200k a week and sign him on for the next 8 years. Done. You know? You don't need to bump him up to 300. You just don't. You know? But if you're at 150, you give him up to 170. Oh, we're going to bump you up to 180. Now, why bother? Why bother? Do you know what I mean? Just give him what he deserves. But Caicedo, who sacked his agent, and this is why the rumour was popping about, nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about. He's not going anywhere. So just like Maresca, similarly to Caicedo, we have not got to worry about a damn thing. So everyone, relax. That's the message here from me to you. It's chill. It's all okay. Now, I'm going to show you something that's going to make you laugh. If you're an OG, you'll laugh. If you're not an OG, you might not get it, but you probably will, kind of, based on who I'm about to show you. Here it is. Check this out. According to Corriere dello Sport, Chelsea are monitoring the situation over Al Hilal midfielder Sergej Milinkovic-Savic. I'm this close to calling him this guy. This close. Yeah? We've been linked with this individual from Italy. It's always an Italian link. It's always Tuttosport or Corriere dello Sport or, I don't know, Sport Italia or I don't know what the flipping hell's going on over there, yeah? But they have this obsession to, in a transfer window, not even a transfer window, we're not even in a window, all of a sudden this link's come out. Link Chelsea and Milinkovic-Savic. Put that together. That's a good story. Happens every single year and has happened every single year since we were managed by Antonio Conte. I don't know if there's a friend of his still operating in Italian journalism who still thinks this is relevant, but message to you, mate, stop it. Stop it. This isn't newsworthy whatsoever. Milinkovic-Savic, every single year, we have one link from Italy with this guy. 2018, 2019, it's 2025. We're about to go into 2026. We are still being linked with this brother. Let it go. Italy, let it go. The man is playing in Saudi. He's gone and got the bag. Let him enjoy the bag. Enjoy the bag. Honestly, absolutely just hilarious. I saw this and I laughed. Don't get me wrong. In his day, decent player. Back in Conte's day, I came on here, not on this channel, my previous channel. I spoke about him, saying, yeah, I'd take him. That was 6 years ago. Not now, honestly. What are we doing? Anyway, let me know your thoughts on that one, if you've got anything to say on Milinkovic-Savic. Simon Phillips has come out with a story about the front of shirt sponsor. Now, this one feels a bit weird. I'm about to show you why. Here it is. Chelsea are in talks with Red Bull, Oracle, and a third company over a front of shirt sponsorship. The hold-up is not due to money or contracts, but the uncertainty around what kind of penalty Chelsea will incur from the Premier League charges. So this is similar to what we explained 2 days ago. That it seems like now what we're being told from across the media is it's not a fear of sponsoring Chelsea, or like I put out, my theory was possibly not being sure of making Champions League football again. Maybe sponsors, we can as fans go, yeah, we'll do it, but sponsors, we're not going to put their money into something that they think is a bit unstable. They're probably looking and going, they're going to make Champions League football? Well, apparently it's not even that. We're being told many times now, it's about these charges. 74 charges. What are these 74 charges? You know? It's as Jose said the other day, or the other week when we played Benfica. If you're going to talk about 74 charges. Let's talk about Man City's 115 first. Yeah, let's see how that goes, and then we can come to this. Because what are these charges in relation to? There's already been sprinkles of sponsor dealings being a little bit, maybe under the table over on the Man City side. But with Chelsea, we still need details. What are these 74 charges exactly? Tell us. We'd love to know. All we know is that was during Roman's time and during the years of, what was it, 2009 up until like 2016 or something like that, when Mourinho was in charge towards the end of that. But what did we do? All I remember from a while back is the transfers of Willian, Eto'o and Eden Hazard were flagged. Is it about that? That doesn't sound like 74 charges to me. So this is why I'm asking, what are the 74? Let's wait and see. But these sponsors, who are they? Let me show you that. Let me show you them again. Red Bull, Oracle, and a third company. That doesn't sound Habibi. What's going on here? Why? Where's Qatar Airways? Where's Riyadh Air? Where's all them lot that we were originally linked with? That we know there's going to be big money from. Don't tell me they've all turned away. See, this is the thing that we have to try and get to the bottom of. What is happening with this front of shirt sponsor? What is going on? These places where they are happy to pay for good amounts, like the Middle East. The Americans, I think, are going to be a little bit more cautious on this. So when you're talking about Oracle, for example, you're talking about even, a predominantly main used European sponsor like Red Bull. Is that sufficient financially? Is that sustainable? Are they really going to give you what you want? They're not going to give 60, 65 million a year. Forget it. They're just not. They're just not. When you look to, it's funny, when you look to Man City and Arsenal, the ones that have main long-standing sponsorship deals now, guess what? They're both Emirati. So they're Middle Eastern at least. Etihad Emirates. Great. The money's there. If you want a big deal, you go there. This is why when we were linked with Riyadh Air, whispers about Qatar Airways, a third one we didn't know. Well, okay, cool. Now we're talking about Red Bull. This is why I'm questioning what Simon Phillips has put here. Is this actually legit? Is this what's going on? Let's wait and see. But like I said 2 days ago, right now, considering the season has started and Champions League football has started, I would take a 1-year deal. A 1-year deal for good money, get Champions League football, get these 74 charges, the details around it, basically laid out. And then we can really go in for a proper deal. If that's necessary, which it seems like right now it could be. If not, we'll go another season without a sponsor, which is just unacceptable. In that regard, it actually just is unacceptable. So let's see what happens. Let me know your thoughts on that one. Now, Nottingham Forest, I said I was going to talk about them. So let's talk about them. Here's latest in relation to Saturday's game. The feeling is that Nottingham Forest game against Chelsea, or the outcome of it, could have a decisive influence on Ange Postecoglou's future, but ultimately it will be down to the mood of Evangelos Marinakis. This, as a whole, is not a surprise. We already heard that he's under pressure, big pressure, and that Sean Dyche has already been lined up, which is bonkers. I like Sean Dyche. I'm not one of those ones that hate Sean Dyche, by the way. I actually like Sean Dyche. I think there's a certain role for him, right? And there's a certain team in a bracket that can always do with a Sean Dyche. And I think right now Nottingham Forest might be heading there. But sacking Nuno in the first place was pointless. That's what it makes this. It goes to show that, if you sack Nuno, you bring in Ange Postecoglou, you have an ideology there that you want your team to go in. It makes sense to an extent. Yeah, some people disagree with it. I'm not saying agree with it. I'm saying it makes sense to what you might be thinking you want to do. But if you go from Nuno to Ange, sack him after 7 or 8 games and go to Dyche, it means you sacking Nuno wasn't thought of. You didn't think about what you actually want to do. Because if you did, you would have gone about it knowing exactly what you need to bring in. But now there's a decision that's about to be made. I think the writing's on the wall. I think Chelsea beat Forest on the weekend, and I think Ange gets the chop without having even won a game, I think it was. Is he 008 or something now? It's crazy, anyway. Bonkers. But Sean Dyche will definitely keep Forest up, that's for sure. Sean Dyche in European football. Love to see it. Let's see how that one's going to go. But it's not looking good for Forest, not looking good for Ange. Let's see what Chelsea are going to do on the weekend. To be fair, some people will make the point that maybe Chelsea are charity FC again. Maybe we'll be the ones to save Ange's job, just like we saved Amrim's. Maybe we go to Forest and we lose 1-0. I wouldn't put it past Chelsea, I'll be honest. You know, it would be a very Chelsea thing to do, to beat Liverpool and then lose to Forest. Be very Chelsea. Lose to United, beat Liverpool, lose to Forest. It would be hilarious. It would be hilarious. But I'll be honest, I think Forest are so bad. Then again, I said this about United. It doesn't even stand anymore. This is the thing about Chelsea. We are charity FC. Let's wait and see what's going to happen. Are we going to put the final nail in the coffin for Ange, or are we going to save his life? Let's see. Let me know your thoughts down below. Let's talk about United. Talking about Emiratis. Let's get into it. It seems like the links are legit. So, Ben Jacobs said on the investment talks right now within the UAE, one company in particular is involved in these talks. It's unclear whether they will front the consortium, but International Holding Company, or IHC, who has been around for about 3 decades, has been part of talks to put together a prospective UAE-based consortium. We don't know if anything is going to materialize. And on top of that, we also have Eric Cantona has held direct talks about becoming an ambassador to the club. So it's legit. Now, what seems to be advanced, which is what Turki Al-Sheikh, I think, was referring to, was that the forming of the consortium is actually happening. That is maybe advanced. But that consortium needs to be formed, and then they need to approach Man United, which has not been done. So United, as of right now, have not even received a knock on the door yet. So nothing on the Glazers' end. But is a consortium being formed to go and put a bid in? Yes. It seems like that's the case. And there was talk about former players being approached to become ambassadors. Well, Cantona has been approached, it seems. So who else is there? I wouldn't be surprised if Beckham's going to be in there. I wouldn't be surprised if even Cristiano gets approached. Knowing that Turki Al-Sheikh is talking about this the way that he's talking about it, I wouldn't be surprised if he just gets on the phone to him and go, hey, Cristiano. You know, he probably lives 5 minutes away from him anyway. So anyway, United, right now, UAE-based consortium does look like it's being formed. So we'll keep our eyes on that one, because I think once that does get formed, a bid will be imminent. Let's see. Now, also, before we wrap up, 2 more things I want to show you. The latest on Real Madrid. This is big. Real Madrid are stepping up plans towards a radical change in their ownership structure. For the first time in history, the club is considering selling stakes to external investors. Florentino Perez believes that opening the club to outside investors will help the club be more competitive against state-owned clubs. He will present detailed plans for these changes at the club's next General Assembly, expected to be next month. So, this is actually big when you think about it, and it's not surprising either. And it's not surprising why, because La Liga as a whole, and when we heard about Barcelona Villarreal hosting a game in Miami, the first La Liga game ever abroad, it's because they need money. La Liga is broke. Not just La Liga. Many European leagues just do not have the funds. They just don't. You know, they need to generate money. Real Madrid are no exception. Now, not to say they're poor. They're not poor. They're not flipping asking for scrubs. But they don't have the funds like they used to. They're not operating on that level anymore. Premier League clubs, yes. Premier League clubs, because it generates so much revenue. The other leagues do not generate even close to what the Premier League generates. That's just obvious. So this is actually a smart move. From Real Madrid, they know, let's get outside investment in. We'll be able to start pumping up the numbers again. And it might just turn to full privatization, which is probably where it's going. So let's see. This could also be an indicator that the Super League is dead. You never know, because if the Super League was still alive, Real Madrid will be pushing in that direction, because they were ready to start funding all the clubs that were ready to participate. So that would have been mad. But they're now talking about this, probably a little indicator that we are not going to get a Super League. But let's wait and see what happens anyway. And to wrap up, I just thought this would be good to show you, because I know all of you are from many different countries. So if your country is here, congratulations. Here are the teams that have qualified for the World Cup so far. So 28 countries have already qualified for the World Cup. Canada, Mexico, USA, Japan, New Zealand, Iran, Argentina, Uzbekistan, South Korea, Jordan, Australia, Ecuador, Brazil, Uruguay, Paraguay, Colombia, Morocco, Tunisia, Egypt, Algeria, Ghana, Cape Verde, South Africa, Qatar, England, Senegal, Ivory Coast, and Saudi Arabia. Now, don't worry, my Nigerian friends, I know you are in a playoff. Just like Cameroon, I know you are in a playoff. Just like the UAE, I know you're in a playoff. Because Qatar got through instead. Bloody hell, what happened at the Qatar-UAE game? It's like Green Street, but Habibi version. Just hooligans going at it. Well, there's a difference. Green Street, hooligans here in England will throw flipping, bottles at you. In Qatar, UAE, they were throwing iPhones and car keys. That says everything you need to know. Honestly, I told you it's different over there. If you want to listen. If you don't. But you get the gist. So if your country is already qualified, congratulations. And if they're not, but they still have a chance, good luck. And we'll see who gets to the 48. So there we are. Thank you all so much for watching, people. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. The preview will be out tomorrow. Make sure you're there for that one, and then be here on match day for the review, which will be on here. Watch along over on Shootout, along with the predictions before that. Make sure you're there too. Subscribe, notification bell on. Catch you guys soon. In a bit, people. Take care and peace.